So let's go. Okay. So skydiving story.
Skydiving story. So my son talked for years how on his 18th birthday he was going to go skydiving, and all his friends bailed on him. And I was like, okay, I'll take one for the team. And
Oh, were they just scared?
Yeah, all his friends bailed.
Pussies.
So I was like, I'll take one for the team, and I'll take you skydiving. Not my fucking dream. Not my dream. Get there, get suited up, get in the plane. My son's like 6'5", so they're like, he's got to go to the back of the plane because of his height, which I don't know. So I'm like the second one out, and I do it. We land, and I'm looking up, and everyone's coming down, and then there's nobody else coming down, and I'm like, oh my God, I killed my son on his 18th birthday. He's dead, and the guy I'm attached to is like,
you're attached to someone panicking.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, he's dead, I killed him, he's dead, and the guy is like, no, they probably just are outside. The outside of the landing drop, everything's fine. I'm like freaking out. Then the plane comes back, out walks my son. He chickened out. And I was like, you son of a bitch, this is not my dream. I never wanted to do this. Like, and it was $250 that you don't get back, so it's coming out of your college fund, all right?
What was the look on his face when he had to walk back?
He was just like smiling and grinning. He's like, what, Mom? I wanted to go again. I'm like, you bastard, I swear to God. And then he called my parents and told them that I chickened out. I was like, Caleb, but yeah, so... Yeah, so that's how I went skydiving.
It's a great picture.
Yeah.
You look quite happy or panicked. I can't quite tell.
I don't know. Have you ever done it?
No, not yet. I really want to.
Once they open up the thing and you're just like standing there looking down, you're like,
fucking world.
I was just numb, and I was just like, fuck it. That was it. And then I just remember like gliding, and then it was really cool. I mean, would I pay $250 again? No. And actually, I was really overweight then, and I was over the weight limit, and they charge you like $5 extra per pound.
What the fuck?
They're like, Bill, it's a safety issue. I'm like, sounds like a money issue.
Yeah, what the fuck? How does that make it safer?
Yeah,
does that make the guy stronger? What the fuck?
I know. I was like pulling him towards his death, like, oh, she's too heavy. She fall. Like, but we made it. Made it.
But was there anything like you took away from it?
That my son's a pussy. That's pretty much all I took from it.
I hope he watches this.
Yeah. And so every year on his birthday, I'm like, happy 1 year anniversary of the day you didn't go skydiving. Like, I guess one of his friends did it, and his friend shit his pants when he was doing it.
Literally?
Literally shit his pants.
The untold struggle of the guy that gets like strapped to them.
I know.
You know he's got to see so much shit. Well, literally.
But no, so that was skydiving.
Cool. Excuse me 1 second. This seems to be a strange occurrence. Okay, well, continuing on.
All right. What to talk about next?
Indeed.
Yeah. Did you have fun at Splash Bar, though?
Yes. Yes, I did.
It's a good spot.
It was super hectic. It was kind of funny. Okay, so I was dancing. I was doing my thing, getting into my groove. And I was looking at just, all the women that I kind of wanted to dance with, but I wasn't quite sure how to approach it. I'm like, I'm fucking ruining my own experience. I'm just going to stop focusing on that. So I have my eyes closed. I'm dancing. I'm doing my thing. And I feel someone like kind of dancing up on me, and I'm like, oh, okay, so I kind of open my eyes, and it's a dude dancing on me, and I was like, I might be bi, because I wasn't like, yo, like fucking back up. I was like, this is kind of enjoyable. It was a strange insight.
It'll happen there, man.
Yeah.
Oh. No, but it's a gay bar though, right?
Yes, I was told.
And the women probably weren't women.
I met a girl at another bar, and she invited me to the place. And she's like, yeah, it's this cross-dressing bar, so you'll have a mix of characters there. And I'm like, okay, that sounds interesting. So yes.
No, I've only been there a few times, but my gays go there a lot, obviously. That's the only gay bar in town. There used to be one downtown, they said. That was before my time. And I'm always joking, like, we need a gay bar on this side of the bridge.
They do know how to party.
They do know how to party. I can't even hang with them. They'll go there and shut it down, and then they're out till like 4 or 5 a.m. I'm like, bitch, I'm 40. I can't do that. It takes 2 days to recover.
Yeah.
Now.
That's the time where you have to be like having the Pedialites and drinking water all the time in between.
And Adderall. Lots of Adderall.
Ooh, do you have any good party stories?
Party stories.
That you were willing to say on camera without getting arrested?
I don't know if I have. I don't know. I had my son so young, so when y'all were like partying, I was like taking care of kids.
Mm-hmm.
A kid. No, the one time I went to a party with my ex-boyfriend many years ago, and I was drunk when I got there, and they had the tray of cocaine, and I spilt my beer all over it.
Was it one of those like everyone goes quiet for a second?
My boyfriend was like, "We gotta go now." And I'm like, "Oh my!" Yeah.
That is not the same as like pouring beer on weed.
Yeah,
it's a different crowd.
Yeah, it's a totally different crowd.
Just buggy wide eyes staring at you.
That's probably the only party I ever got invited to. Yeah. Oh, the one time I fell in a garbage can. I was drunk and I fell in a garbage can and couldn't get out.
Inside?
Yeah, I just fell back in a garbage can. It was really tall. Yeah. That's about it. Yeah, my party days are over. I'm more of a get drunk at the bar, go home, pass out.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Drink, enjoy it, go to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been pretty good about knowing when I'm done, putting myself to bed. And that was a lesson hard learned.
Yeah? Is that something you want to go into, or is that more just like...
Well, you can only get blackout drunk and piss in a guy's bed so many times before you learn.
Yeah.
I've
never been the blackout. So, sorry, Mom, for what I'm about to say, but I did Xanax once, ever. And that was the only time where I ever woke up afterwards. I woke up on my couch. My friend's on the opposing couch. I'm just like, how the fuck did I get here? It was 30 minutes of dancing and having fun, and then just no memory.
Yeah.
Apparently I was like eating people's Cheerio. Like, went to my friend's house, like, yo, don't eat my food there. We're saving for something. Completely ignored him, zombified. Ate it, never did it again. Oh, I hate that.
Yeah,
the blackout feeling.
Yeah, Xanax, Clonopins, all those blackout. They're delicious though.
Like, you mean tasty or fun? Like,
they're just fun. I mean, you don't remember it, but I'm pretty sure that's how I got pregnant. We'll never know. Yeah? Yeah.
So what was it like having a kid at 19?
It was, not planned. My son's like, "Mom, was I in an accident?" I'm like, Caleb, when I was 19, I was like, I'll be great right now.
So you're like, pat on head, God has a plan for all of us.
No, I mean, he definitely wasn't what I wanted, but he's what I needed. I don't have any regrets or anything like that. He definitely gave my life structure and a purpose, and best thing I've ever done, I will ever do. Yeah. So.
Oh man, you hear that? Because I had a friend who was in a bit of a troubled relationship, and she ended up having a kid with a guy. But the way she described it is like, man, I was so lost beforehand. Yeah. Like, I was so kind of just low energy, all that. But after I had a kid, it charged me up, gave me a purpose, gave me a light, made me happy.
No, absolutely. Like, but then on the same token, like, I'm not advocating for everyone to have a baby at 19, but
there's a lot of difficulty.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of nice because I'm still young enough to enjoy life and do things, and I'm self-aware and more established, financially stable and all that. So, and he doesn't live with me. It's wonderful.
I fucking bet.
Yeah, it's great. Like, that cock blocker slowed me down for a long time. So.
It's a great nickname to have for your kid. Oh, it's funny.
What about you? You don't have
kids? No kids. Not yet. Not yet. Hopefully, at some point a few years down the road, but at the moment, I'm kind of just enjoying the,
van life?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hashtag van life.
Yeah.
I'm in a weird position. I was listening to someone describe, like, for all the people out there who have enough money saved up, who are still young and don't have the responsibility of family, you kind of have a responsibility to go, I guess, see what's happening with your country. Yeah. And that really hit me, because I'm like, you know what? That's actually kind of true. I've been hearing some scary shit. Ooh, okay, that's something I'll ask you about. Has you noticed any, like, actual on-the-ground changes in your community, I guess in America, over the last few years, or just throughout your life?
Well, Panama City is probably the first community I've ever really lived in. I lived in Jacksonville for a year, It was nothing like it. And where I grew up back home, it was nothing like that. I don't know if the community has anything to do with like COVID or everything that's going on, but I've never lived anywhere like this. Like, it really is neighbor helping neighbor, and business supporting business, and artists supporting artists. So, I mean, that's the biggest change I've ever had, but it's the first time I've ever experienced a real community. So, I don't know if it's always been this way, or if it's just because of everything that's going on.
For COVID, yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like, those are my most expensive shoes I've ever bought. And I wear them to fucking work every day.
Fuck yeah.
But they're amazing.
They're like super comfy.
They're called On Clouds, I think. But if you're going to walk a lot, I'd highly recommend On Cloud. If you're listening, I'm taking sponsorships right now. Please send size 11 wides. Thank you.
Just have boxes on boxes, right?
Yes. Best friggin' shoes for... When I was in the hospital, all the nurses had them. And then when I went back to waiting tables, I was like, I'm going to get me a pair of those.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
How much were they?
Oh, like $170.
Yeah. But worth it.
Yeah. I've got like some Coach heels in there that were only like $140, and I'm like, fuck. I could not wear those. I can't even walk in those. I have to just like put them on and vacuum, because I'll die walking those things.
I don't know how the fuck women do, like, because it's such a fine point, and people...
Oh, it's awful. It's absolutely, it's pure hell. And the older you get, like...
I just wonder why the fuck am I...
Well, usually, like, when I go out, and I have the heels and the dress, I always have like those foldable ballet slippers that I have in my tote, and like, or my tote. I just showed my age big time.
I don't know.
In my satchel or my purse. Apparently, I cannot speak or use words, but have those in there, and then I usually switch out to that. But
ooh, so I met you at the comedy club, right?
Yeah.
The library in Panama City. Great place. Check it out. But how did you get introduced to that place?
To the library on Beck. So when I moved here, we didn't have a comedy open mic. And so I had to go to like Great Lakes to get my stage time. I started going to city council meetings. That's a joke.
Oh, I was like, I didn't know they take that sort of topic.
No, oh, they did not go over well. I was like, this thing on? So, and then once, you didn't meet him, he wasn't there last night, but Jason Hedden and Justin Butler run Panama City Comedy. They produce most of the shows that go on in Panama City. And I was like, we need to get a mic started. And I was like, are you cool if we, collaborate on this? I can put Panama City Comedy's name. I can find a venue. And the library on Beck was actually under a different owner when we started it and when we negotiated everything. And now Phil and Liz Mercer own it. And they also own the Slice House and Slapsticks and Bergen Barrel.
Oh, sure.
And the mic will be our 1 year anniversary on 4/20. So nice. Yeah, I know. And I didn't even plan that. But and they just,
plan.
I know. And then I just felt like that spot was so intimate, and so like I just always felt like it was the perfect spot for an open mic and something like this. And Phil and Liz are just so supportive and have never been like, well, don't do this, don't do that, free reign. And it's just been an awesome experience, and the community has really kind of just shown out. And I don't know how many open mics you've been to, but
never. That was the first one I've been to. We can actually, speaking of mics, with the audio equipment, I'll have to fix that. So fuck the mics for now.
Okay.
We can just chat.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, that was the first open mic I've ever been to. I've been to comedy shows before, but never to and the crowd was so...
Yeah, they're so
cool.
Engaged and great.
Yeah.
And I try to tell, like, my open micers, like, the regulars, like, you saw some of them, Brett Simmons and Marcus Esquire. And I think those were the only two, like, been there since the beginning. Like, usually a comedy open mic, you just have 10 other comics staring at you, rooting for you to fail. Like, you don't have...
Wait, are you talking, like, they really get that brutal, that
cold
like, eyes?
It's... Generally, like when I'm listening to another comic, I'm trying to figure out what their joke is. Like that's how my brain goes. Like, what's their punchline? And they're not getting a laugh unless they're surprising me. Does that make sense?
Got you.
And I think most comics are like that. So that's usually what you get. And then like when you live in bigger cities where there's multiple mics on one night, going to do their set and then they're leaving to go to the next mic.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time, like if you're newer, by the time you get up, you may have one person in there, you know. So be able to give like them an audience, an engaged audience, like it's just an awesome experience. But on the same token, I'm like, you guys need to go to two other rooms. Make sure, you know, your stuff really works in other audiences. So.
Have you ever talked to just one person in a crowd before? Or like 1, 2, or 3?
I think the smallest crowd I ever had was really recently. I was out of town for a show, and there was probably like 10 or 12 people. And they were back so far. It was just, it sucks when it's like that. But yeah, I mean, comedies can suck your soul right out of your body, man.
I've only started hearing that conversation from comics pretty recently.
Yeah.
About like the unspoken grind of comedy.
Oh, yeah.
All the bombs you have to sit through.
Yeah, I know. I mean, bombing is a part of it. And I think it was Jim Carrey. I watched this documentary on the Comedy Store, and he was like, embrace the bomb. Mm-hmm. He's like, that's how you learn, that's how you get better. And I was like, that is true. So just not being afraid of it and just getting back up there. That's the biggest thing. But that being said, like, if I can do a show on a Tuesday night with one set, bomb, like, horrifically, like, want to, like, get off stage and take a bath with razor blades. Like, it's bad.
Take a bath.
Yeah, it's so bad. Mm-hmm. And then go up the next night, do the same set, different audience, and crush it. Mm-hmm. Like, you never know what you're getting into. And I'm sure that's the same for every artist and every art form. Because the audience depicts how you do. Like, if they're not picking up what you're putting down, you're gonna bomb.
Oh my god, and it's so subjective.
Oh, yeah.
And to have that much material that you could literally ebb and flow with any audience, it was incredibly tough just to fill 10 minutes. I think I filled like 8 minutes of mostly quiet from the audience. What's one of the longest like sets you've done before?
I'm up to 30 minutes now.
Wow.
I'm up to 30. My goal is by the end of the year to have an hour of working material.
Fuck yeah.
So I have like 45 minutes of working material, but that's every joke that I've ever, that I know works. That's without doing crowd work or anything like that.
That sounds fun. I'd love to get into crowd work.
Yeah, that takes time. Like, I'm just now at the point where I trust myself enough to do that. Like, I had a show last weekend back home, and it was sold out on Friday night, which is awesome. And I'm pulling up to the venue, and like, there's a line of people. I'm like, oh, hell yeah, this is gonna be awesome. As I start to walk closer, they're all over the age of 70.
I was a little like, shit, the cringe,
and I'm just like, oh my god, are you serious right now? Is this really happening? And I'm like, okay. And then the headliner, he could feel like I wasn't vocalizing I was freaking out, but he could sense it, and he's like, they're here for a comedy show on a Friday night, regardless of their age, they want to have a good time. And I was like, okay. And then when I was up there,
that's a good pep talk.
Yeah, I know, and he was awesome. Dean Napolitano. I think I butchered his last name. Great guy. Been doing it for 30 years. Talk about having material out of his back pocket, like seasoned professional. Sorry, my doctor said I'm not contagious, but who fucking knows?
You're good.
But so I went up and I'm doing, because I don't know if you've heard how much I did Wednesday night, but
because you were doing the fill-ins.
Yeah. I'm a blue style comic. I'm dirty. I'm filthy. So I did my first 3 jokes, and I wasn't getting laughs. I was getting like, oh, and I could feel like I'm losing them. And then so I just boarded everything and just did crowd work for like 20 minutes, and I've never done anything like that before, and it worked.
Yeah.
I pulled it out of my ass, and I was pretty proud of myself.
Fuck yeah, because that's a ballsy thing to do. It's a fine line to walk between bullying.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There was, but I think I was just how much I've developed over the last few years, and like being able to shift, like you said, and be able to recognize, and so it worked.
What got you started?
Huh?
What got you started?
So I had Caleb Young. Did it all on my own, and then I went back to school when I was 30, finally, busted out, finally had my career, life is going good, my son's a senior year in high school, I bought like a beautiful home. Like, this is it. I've made it. And then I went into a meeting at work, and all the corporate bigwigs were there. And then HR walked in, and I was like, "Are we all getting fired?" And nobody laughed. And I was like, "Oh." So it was transfer with the company or get another job. And the Jacksonville office reached out to me and transferred me. And I met my comedy mentor, my best friend, Emery Mahez. And he permanently changed the trajectory of my life. He got me on stage. He got me signed up for this intro to stand-up class, which helps with confidence and joke structure. It basically like takes off 2 years of like just doing open mics and learning shit the hard way. So some comics hate it and think it's cheating, but I paid for it, so I don't care.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah. And but that's how it all happened. I did my first open mic October 5th, 2019, and I haven't stopped.
How does that convincing process work? Just going from just a normal conversation to, would you like to go stand in front of people?
Was it just like that? I've always been like quick-witted and funny, and like I remember like being with my friends and like thinking of jokes in my head and like manipulating the conversation so I could deliver them, and then so it's like I think I always had that inclination and that desire, but growing up in like Central Florida and not a family that didn't really support art or anything like that, was go to church and go make money. That was it. So not having that or even knowing how to do that. So he definitely, we met, he was like, "You're really funny. I think you should try this." And I was like, it's always something I wanted to, but I don't know how. So
That's gotta be, you ever see Fight Club?
Yeah. What's the first rule about Fight Club? Yeah.
But goddamn, that's gotta be so funny to go back into a corporate environment after doing like comedy the night before.
Yeah.
Stand up, I feel like it would almost be like Fight Club.
Yeah, it was interesting. So I was in sales, so luckily I only had to be in the office like early in the morning, and then I could go and booze clients and but it was it's great, and Jacksonville was great, and I'm grateful for the experience. I wouldn't be nearly as mentally stable without it. So.
Hell yeah. There's something incredible to having that sort of artistic expression.
Yeah.
That ability to, I guess that's the best way to say it, channel your creative outlet. And it's something that's just like we crave food or being with another person. It's a craving in people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I need it.
Yeah. Okay. You definitely seem like a creative person just as I look around the house. It's like there's a lot of art here, a lot of different colors.
Yeah. I used to be very like OCD and everything had to match. And I'm still OCD. You notice like if you go and move my books around, my head will probably turn around. Yeah, they're in order.
The way you said it, are you German at all?
I am. Like super German. It's crazy. My friend Stephanie, she's really German. Moved to the States probably 10 years ago with her husband. But like I was listening to her talk to her sister on the phone, and they're bitching, and I'm like, oh, it is a German thing. We are just loud, bossy people.
Like orderly, precise.
Yes. I'm like, oh my God.
Huh?
Oh.
I wonder if that's a culture that like really appreciates art. Because I feel like there's some people who don't really need a creative outlet.
Yeah.
And the way you're describing your parents, I imagine they might be kind of like that person, or they're just pressing it down deep inside.
Well, my dad has the artist soul. He does. My dad always, was with music, It made me listen to John Prine and Steve Earle and Todd Snyder and all these old folk singers that.
Yeah, I know who like.
Yeah, I know. Not many people do, but and then too, like the Rolling Stones and the Kinks but he always taught us that even if we don't like something, you have to respect its artistic contribution. And he took us to museums, and he took us to that. But my mom is very analytical and very.
And there's a practical, like, look at what it got you. right?
Yeah, I sold my soul for all of this, basically.
Oh my god, that's a hell of a conversation.
Yeah.
Like, selling one's soul.
Yeah.
Because I imagine it was survival when you were a kid. Like, I have a kid and I'm a kid, so I need to grind, I need to make money, I imagine. But at a certain point, I imagine you just want to say, fuck it.
That's where I'm at. I just said fuck it. Yeah. So, when you know how much your soul costs, I'm like, oh, my soul costs $88,000 a year. Like, really? That's it?
Your soul.
Yeah. Plus benefits.
Yeah. That can't be overlooked. Like, the medical operation you went through.
Oh, I know.
Like, huh?
Yeah.
It's so easy to take it for granted when you just have it.
Yeah.
You have it.
Yeah. Well, now I'm doing Cobra for like a month, and then this restaurant I started working at will offer benefits.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So, you know, I'll be all right. I mean, but I'm sure you have to go see specialist after specialist.
Yeah.
Take this pill, do this test. I'm like, I'm so fucking over it. I don't want to do it anymore. I just kind of feel like if it's going to kill me, it's going to kill me.
No, you're still so young. I'm just thinking about, like, happiness, right? Because it does seem to be the measure for a good life.
Yeah, it should be, but so many people look at money as the measure of happiness, which I'm very guilty of for a very long time. So.
Oh, fair enough. Because it's like, that'll provide the foundation of survival, you know?
Yeah.
Like when you have, but it's funny you say you made around $88,000 a year, because there's some...
Not anymore. Not anymore. Yeah.
But there was some popular studies that showed, I think it's around 80, it might have been 60,000. But if you're making, once you start making that amount of money, any more than that doesn't affect happiness.
Yeah.
They're like...
Well, I just spent more, you know, and I was miserable. I really was miserable. There's no other way to even decipher. I mean, no other word. And I found myself like, I would jump from like company to another, the same position, just like, what's the definition of insanity? Repeating the same mistake and expecting a different outcome. And I was like, no, I can't do this anymore. So. Man,
having that brush with death.
Yeah.
Because that opens your fucking eye.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. It changed my life.
Yeah? Man, I wonder if there's a way to get the pros of having a near-death experience without having...
I don't think so. I don't think you ever truly know what it's like until you go through it. I think you can talk about it and you can read the books and be inspired to make a change, but until you go through something like that, you don't know who you are, what you're capable of.
Did you ever hear of Henry Rollins?
The band Henry Rollins.
Yeah,
that guy. What's his name? Mama.
I think his name is Henry Rollins, but I think he also has the Henry Rollins Band and Black Flag, and but anyway.
Isn't he like the real muscle guy? Like
he looks kind of like a skinhead, but he's not.
Yeah, I know who he is.
So he was talking about some other artists, maybe the Rolling Stones or Black Sabbath. I forget exactly who, but anyway, one of the musicians there was talking to him. He's like, "Man, you gotta get out and you gotta worry about whether or not a shark's gonna eat you every now and then in your life." Like, he's talking about doing some ocean treks, canoeing in the ocean. It's like, there's something healthy to every now and then diving into that sort of environment that reminds you you're mortal.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to not do that while you're living in today's day and age and culture. It's so easy to just kind of go to work, go home.
Yeah, you become like robots and machines.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like I was just stagnant, and my drinking was out of control. And like, especially when I got out of the hospital and I went back to work, and I was like self-destructing. I was
listening, you know Russell Brand?
yeah, sorry. The long-haired guy.
Yeah. So,
English.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he went to rehab, and one of the things the employees there told him, like, as soon as he got there, they said, "Good job finding a way to survive." Yeah. Like, through the addiction. And that's such a different way to look at addiction, as some numbing agent or painkiller or some sort of happiness.
Mechanism.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, so, and then like I still drink and all, but like I was getting shit-faced every night and doing cocaine, and I don't think marijuana is a drug, but
it's one of the
yeah. But I was just like, I went through all this for nothing, and so I was like, I don't even want. And then I finally just something clicked, And I literally called my boss and was like, I'm miserable, I can't do this.
What did he say? Fair enough.
There was like 3 seconds of silence, and he's like, well, I really respect your honesty. Mm-hmm. I was like, I'm not doing you any favors. Like, trust me, I'm not. Like, I can't do this, so.
Yeah.
And then I think I did a comedy show, like, the next night, and I was like, I quit my job.
That must have been a great show.
Oh, it was fucking great. I just was like, oh. And then the manager at the restaurant I'm working at was there, and he was like, come in tomorrow, and hired me. So it was like just one of those series of events. Like,
see, I was saying earlier, kind of jokingly, God's plan when you were talking about your son and you remember what I'm talking about?
Skydiving?
Yes.
Yeah.
But then you tell me a moment like that, and it really makes me wonder for a second, because I'm not a super religious person. Yeah. I kind of dabble in different religions because they seem quite helpful at times. But when you hear something like that, it kind of makes me think maybe there is a sort of plan.
Yeah.
Like literally the night after.
Yeah.
I got another job.
And they're great there. Everyone that's worked there has been there for like 20 years. Yeah, and they offer benefits. It's not corporate. The money's great, and I'm not getting drunk every night. I mean, I am having a drink at 1 o'clock before I go into my shift. Don't post this.
This is water. This is Sprite.
But I'll be fine. I'll be fine. So.
Yeah, because there is something. So if you use, how do I say this? It's not the substance. It's your relationship with the substance.
Right.
At least that's what I heard from someone very invested in studying this, and it clicked. Like it really did. Because there are ways in which it's going back to what you said about weed earlier. That's actually been one of the things I would say I had an addiction to, which is kind of funny. Because if Dave Chappelle had a skit a little while ago where he went to an AA meeting, and the guys are having these stories like, when I was sucking dick for crack, and then he went up next, he's like, yeah, man, I was smoking a lot of weed, eating too many Cheers and shit like that. Yeah. And everyone was just kind of quiet looking at him like, what the fuck are you talking about? But it's true, because I had a relationship with weed where it's like, man, I lack energy now, I'm just getting high all the time, just losing motivation and all that jazz, and it really forces me
to go to a different strand.
Yeah, right.
That's
I do need that sativa.
Yeah.
Oh, I just heard it was federally legalized the other day.
Really?
Yeah, like literally yesterday.
I haven't heard that. I don't know. I mean, it needs to be. It's ridiculous. Like, I can't really smoke anymore, but I get the gummies. I mean, I say I can't smoke, but then I get drunk and smoke a cigarette. But, you know.
Just not as often.
Yeah, just not as often, you know. But,
that's so ridiculous to go from, like, one state line to the other, and now you're a criminal.
No, and it's just, I mean, the only time, I get stoned and I wake up in a pool of Rice Krispie treats, you know, or I drive really slow. That's
Stop too long at stop signs.
I'm not out there robbing someone's house, or no one is, you know, and they say it's a gateway drug and all that, but I think cigarettes and alcohol are a gateway drug.
That's so weird that people say drugs and alcohol. Like, motherfucker, alcohol is a drug.
It is.
That really just paints so clearly the picture of the drug war and sort of propaganda around it.
But they make so much money and all that shit, you know? Like, it's all, well, we're going to go down a rabbit hole.
Oh, well, that's fine with me. Let's go at full Alice in Wonderland style.
God. You got mushrooms? I'm just
kidding. Right. Oh, it's funny. I actually had a friend in Vegas who said, like, yeah, they have a connection there to get some mushrooms, so I can only imagine seeing. Have you ever been to Vegas before?
Yeah.
Yeah, seeing all those lights and shit.
Well, I'm not big on the strip, because I think Vegas is Orlando on crack. Like, it's one of those things, like, it's cool to see, but...
For, like, 2 days.
Yeah. But they do Red Rock Canyon. Have you done that? It's beautiful. Eat some shrooms.
Is that Grand Canyon?
No, it's about 30 minutes outside of the city limits out of Vegas.
Gotcha.
And then there's this other place called Valley of Fire.
Ooh, shit.
So fucking cool.
I gotta fucking write this down.
Yeah. Those are, like, definitely, like, get you some shrooms, go there.
Microdose.
Yeah, microdose.
Because Lord knows you
full transparency. Full transparency, the last time I went to Vegas, I went and I was going through some shit. I was in my head, and I had like 4 hits of acid.
Ooh, that'll do it.
I did them all in Valley of Fire and lost my shit. Like,
How did you make it?
It was a long day.
Wait, I gotta hear that. Okay, hold on. Before I fucking forget, I gotta write this.
Yeah, okay. Valley of Fire and Red Rock Canyon. Those are...
Fire, Red Rock. Okay, so what the fuck happened there?
I just lost my shit. I was just walking and just... I was going through something else and not dealing with it, and you know when you get in that mindset.
Okay, so when you say lost your shit, like naked running down the street,
the cops are chasing me. No, nothing like that. No, I went to a dark place in my mind.
Yeah.
And really had to like sort some stuff out, but I needed to. Mm-hmm. I think I'm all for hallucinogenics and drugs.
They can be pretty healing.
It can be. I mean, but I think. I don't know how you are, but I have a really hard time admitting my feelings, and that's something I'm working on continuously. Mm-hmm. And that brought a lot of things up that I wasn't willing to
I used to be much more of the men don't cry mentality.
Yeah.
Like, stoically.
I was like that too.
Yeah, right? Because it's not even... It might be unfair to just put that on men, maybe more stereotypically, but there's just an idea...
That symbolizes strength. Yeah. And it's not true.
They're like... If... For me, I go back to war. If you're in war, right, and your comrade gets shot right next to you, I feel like that's the moment to be like stoic, like stay on task, don't get distracted. This isn't the time to cry. That comes later. But like, there is a time for crying. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well,
ever since like, everything I went through, because I spent 40 years successfully bottling my feelings up inside where they belong.
It's impressive. Where they fucking belong.
One near-death experience. I'm like crying every fucking day. Like, oh my God. My one of my good friends here, I finally got to hang out with him last night because he changed jobs in the month of March, went back to bartending to make money for spring break. So like I haven't seen him in a month. And like I had a breakdown. Like I was like, if you're just going to 86 me out of your life, just do it. And he's like...
What's 86?
86 is restaurant lingo for no.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, everything's okay. You knew I was coming back. I'm like, I didn't know. You barely have some underlying abandonment issues for the girl who had like the perfect childhood with her happily married parents.
Who knows where that comes from. But that's an interesting thing where you start to dig into your soul.
Oh, I know, right? Is this therapy? How much more time do we have?
Yeah, right. It's 2:37.
We can go for like another 10 minutes. It'll take you 15 minutes.
I'll tell you what. I'll set a little alarm because that time just flew by.
I know. Mm-hmm. No, but life is a fickle thing, and you only get one shot at it. That's for sure.
You said 15 minutes?
Yeah. So like 2:45 because I just gotta be out of here by 3.
Gotcha.
So.
But yeah, that one shot. What the fuck are you gonna do with it, right?
Right.
And I love that the death is just a question mark. Because who knows?
We're all dying.
Yeah, right?
We're all dying.
I should say what comes after. Because people have the YOLO mentality. But, so when I really think, I'm like, I don't know if I only live once. But there's something about that uncertainty where it kind of makes sense to treat it like you do.
Yeah.
Like to treat it like... Because who knows, maybe when you die, you wake up in the simulation... And you're just in some super cosmic arcade where you were just playing...
I fucking hope not. I swear to God. This is it. I had a good run. I'm ready to
I'm ready for the void.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't want to think anymore. I don't want to worry about shit. I'm done. I don't want to do this over. I'm good.
I wonder how possible it is to be happy. Like just... There's a part of me that really wonders how practical happiness is. Like on a day-to-day basis, just going through life in general. Because growing up, I don't know if it's our culture, where it doesn't seem to be emphasized very much. It doesn't seem to be a thing that's like, no. Happiness is something that can be achieved while also making money so you can sustain yourself. Yeah. It almost seems like happiness was equated with like being irresponsible.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know where to go with that. Like, I mean... Honestly, I had, like, the perfect childhood, but, like you said, I don't ever really think I ever felt happy, you know? Like, it was never an emphasis on that. My dad worked, my mom stayed at home, and they were, you know, I don't know how do people stay married for 45 fucking years? Are your parents married?
Yes.
Still?
Somehow, yeah.
It's unreal. Like, I'm not cut from that cloth. 45 years. Like, my dad can't even make a decision, though. Like, I literally was home, and I was like, Dad, are you hungry? He's like, I don't know. She hasn't told me yet. Like.
Did he say it jokingly?
No, like, I was dead serious. I'm like, and like, I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
There's some real conversation about whether or not that's a natural, whether people are made to be monogamous, whether people are designed biologically to only have one partner for life, or whether it's more of a recent invention in our culture.
I don't think it's recent. I mean, that's always how society has been structured. I mean, as far as I know. I mean, other than Utah, you know?
When I say recently, I mean like the past few hundred or thousand years, right?
Yeah.
And then I look back at the majority of humans' evolutionary history when we're hunter-gatherers living in tribes in the jungles and shit like that.
I wasn't alive back.
I feel like, but just for like what we're adapted to be like, it just makes me wonder what happens to a human mind when you're literally with this one person. Because this is another weird thing, that we're also pretty adapted to be around a community of like 50, 40 people constantly that you're really close with, but we don't really have that anymore.
Yeah.
And now it's just one person. This one person is your best friend, supposed to be your best friend, your confidant, your partner.
Your rock. Yeah, that's a lot of pressure.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. I can't do it.
Part of me wants to say, fuck that.
I'm a solo act. My mom has finally come to terms with the fact, like marriage isn't gonna happen for me. I'm just starting to accept it.
Did you ever see Scott Pilgrim vs. the World?
No, I saw the previews and like it'll show up, but I never watched it.
It's like it's probably the best comic book or video game movie that you'll ever see. But one of the main characters, the girl there, she's kind of bouncing around to different boyfriends throughout her life, and the guy she's with right now, like she really likes. And now we're talking about like rom-com. Who would have thought?
Is this how it happens? Is this happening?
But the way she described it, she's like, "You're just what I need now."
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's a pretty healthy way to have a relationship. Yeah. To not tie yourself down concretely for the rest of your life.
And to have this predisposed
idea,
this is what's going to happen and everything. I think my thing is, to be successful in like a relationship, a long-term relationship, you have to sacrifice a piece of yourself to that person. Mm-hmm. And I'm not willing to do that. So
fair enough. Or maybe you haven't met that.
Oh Jesus Christ! I just threw up in my mouth.
See, I don't know, because there's a part of me that believes in that story, that maybe you meet that person and
maybe, but I don't think
I haven't met him yet.
Yeah. Well, I think like my issue with that is in like whenever people, you'll find someone. One day you're gonna find.
Or you'll die.
Yeah. And I'm like, I know that comes from a place of love, but when I hear it, I hear you telling me that there's something wrong with me.
Because you haven't found them
yet. Or that I'm not
Mm-hmm.
enough. And like that, I don't agree with. Like that pisses me off a little bit. There's, you've got to, like, I don't need another person to validate my existence. Mm-hmm. I've accomplished more as a 40-year-old single woman than most married fucking people I know. So,
fuck yeah.
Fuck it. I got a great kid. I'm fine. So,
fuck yeah.
And I got really great male friends that I don't have sex with, and I think that's the key to success for me. So it's like I date them and then I fuck people I don't care about.
See, so maybe you're doing maybe you're doing the more healthy things, so you're not putting it all on one person.
Exactly.
Like I have my best friends, I have the people I have sex with every now and then. Like I have a community, not just one person who's supposed to be
right. I spread that shit out.
I've heard someone saying that really clicks with me. That just live your best life, which is such a corny thing, kind of cliche, but there's a truth to it, right? Like do the best with your life that you can, and if there's a person that aligns with that life, then you meet them. Yeah. And if not, you still lived your best life. Yeah. So. Yeah.
I've always said like there's things I want to do in my life, and I'm not gonna not do them because I don't have something to do them with. So that's just kind of like my mentality.
Fuck yeah.
So, fuck it.
Do you ever hear of ayahuasca? The psychedelic realm. It's this old shamanic medicine. It's made fucking ridiculously, like back in the day before science and shit like that. These super rare plants that were found extremely far away from each other, that when scientists ask the people who created it nowadays, like the people who are connected to the ancestor line, they're like, how the fuck did you figure out because you have to make it really specifically, heat it, and this, that, and the other way. They're like, the plants told us. So scientists is like, I don't know what the fuck to do with it. So, but I took it. I went to Mexico, and this is not the thing you take by yourself. Like, shrooms, I feel like, okay, I can enjoy that by myself. I don't need, like, someone guiding me through, like, the shaman, the medicine man type shit. So, hilariously enough, I did with my mom. Like, and this other group of people. Yeah, it was very interesting. Aww. And it was actually very healing in a weird way. Yeah. And I always hesitate to recommend it to people, because that's not, like, I don't want to sell it to you. But I think you would fuck with it, just based on what you've said so far.
Yeah, ayahuasca.
Yes, but for God's sake, make sure
I have a spirit guide.
Yeah, and like someone you trust, like someone.
Someone was telling me about. He was doing some drug that releases the chemical endorphin or in your brain when you die.
Maybe DMT.
That was it. It was letters. Yeah.
Right. That's also the thing when you dream, the thing that creates dreams in your mind, it's the same drug. And if people are bleeding out, it'll also be released. And so you have crazy
he was telling me about it. I'm like, no, I'm good. I did that?
Yes, I did the bufo, but I didn't get so there's a common experience where people do enough, they'll get like shot out of their body. They'll talk. If you talk to people in this community, you'll hear about the fifth dimensional elves. Yeah. They're like these giant elves made of these weird geometric patterns that teach you about like all the information in the universe. But you can't hold it all, and you come back with maybe some lesson, some sort. It's weird that there's a lesson involved in it oftentimes. Yeah. Some sort of teaching, but
DMT. Yeah, I don't want to do that, but ayahuasca I will look into. And what's the other one that all what's the other one? Capote? No, Capote is... Capote is an author.
It's an Italian mobster. Yeah. But peyote, I've never done that one.
Yeah, that's the one, like, you gotta, like, they put you in huts and, like, you got your vomit.
Same with the ayahuasca. You will probably...
Dude, I vomit every time I do shrooms.
Yeah?
Every time I've done shrooms, I vomit.
I've heard that. Fortunately, I've gotten weird stomachs before. I've had that on acid sometimes.
Yeah, my friend shit his pants.
See, I feel like that either ruins your trip or you're just so hot. Because there's a weird place you get to when you take psychedelics sometimes where it's like, I'll walk through mud and I'll have stains on my shirt and I won't care. It's like, this one is meaningless. I have poop on me. I'll just clean it off. It's nothing. Like in a weird way, you just won't care. It's just another part of the weirdness of life. Yeah. Or it just ruins your trip and you go down the...
Wrap down. No, I mean, I'll dabble in them again soon. I'm coming out of my funk, so...
I feel it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But shit, they're so expensive now. Fucking drugs, inflation.
Sure. Oh my god, are they going up like the gas prices?
Yeah, it's like, fuck. You see me on the street sucking dick for mushrooms?
For mushrooms.
Mind your business. Mind your fucking business, people.
I'm living my best life.
I won't remember any of this anyway, so it's fine.
That's the way oh god, that's such a dark joke pop my head. If you're gonna prostitute yourself, that's the way to do it.
Well, usually I do it for fucking home repairs.
See, you're practical with it.
I fucking do.
You need plumbing done.
Yes.
You tired.
Listen, when I'm swiping, I'm looking at one thing only, their occupation.
Sugar daddy, yes.
Their occupation. I'm like, HVAC, that'll come in handy.
You know what? I wouldn't be totally opposed to a sugar mama. If I had some rich lady pull up in a Beamer. And
I tell my son all the time, like, become a pool boy, just become someone's cougar bait for a few years. Like, I love you, kid, but, you're not there yet. You're close. You're close. You're going to be okay. But men are so different than women. Like, I think women are far more independent at a younger age. Like, if I wouldn't have left my son, he'd still live with me. So leave your kids, people.
Kick the bird out of the fucking nest.
But no, like, I say that jokingly. I'm really proud of him. He's doing really well. He's just got to get one more kick up the butt.
Fuck yeah. Hey, sometimes you need that. Yeah. That good kick up the ass.
Yeah.
Oh shit,
we got to